No.
Besides the fact that I started my period on the white chair
Oh, wow. Tell them
during
that.
the conference.
No, this was during, thank God it was during the women's event. But anyway, tell the... All right.
All right.
That's, you know what? Yeah, look at you. You're cheerleader, you. We're back.
Hi, Liz.
Hi, Lee.
It's good to see you. It's been a
I've
minute.
seen a lot of you, and it's been great. It's been good.
Oh, it's
yeah,
been
but we
good.
haven't seen them, or
Hey,
they haven't
guys.
seen us, and I'm not sure. Yeah. Anyway,
Hope you
we're
want to.
back.
Yes, we've taken a little podcast hiatus just by the nature of life's events.
Yes.
And we could hashtag life lately and tell you what we've been doing.
Yes, we could if we were TikTokers.
But we're not.
Well,
Thank
I am.
God.
You know.
Yeah, you are.
I am.
Okay, so what have we been doing? It is now, we're rolling into September, October
This
time.
is the fall. Here we are.
Yep, we've officially hit the day where we can say it's fall, y'all.
Yes.
And you look really cute in your new sweater.
Thanks. I bought it in L.A.
Oh, what were you doing in LA, Liz?
Shopping on my free time. No, it was fun.
No, you were not. That is not what you were doing in LA.
No.
Tell us all about it. Why did we go to LA?
Yeah, we just got back from LA. That was our latest trip. We were, or I was invited to work for a corporation. We're not going to mention them because, that's their business. Anyway, corporate speaking, that was quite an event. We went for 4 days, and I worked 2 different days at 2 different events, speaking on wellness and longevity. And
Very cool.
It happens to be one of my favorite subjects, but it was also to a really strong group of people. And I'll have to admit, I had to really do a lot of prep work, but that prep work really made me feel strong, and I was ready, and I really enjoyed it. It was 2 days of enjoyment, but boy, on the other side of that, I realized, yeah,
A lot of hard work.
that was a lot of hard work, and I love the West Coast. I mean, coming into LA, and we were together.
Obvi.
You're always going to be with
come
me,
as a
right?
team.
We do come as a team, and but no, it was quite exciting for me.
It was really good. And I mean, the reason I think it was a challenge and a step outside your comfort zone, ding, 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 was because you speak all the time. You've been speaking about wellness and longevity, obviously on this podcast, to your clients, at different events, et cetera, et cetera. But this was a real 15 minutes on stage, linear learning style presentation. And that's just not your learning style.
And can I just say, no notes? I mean,
Right.
seriously, I really did. I had to. And that is an interesting thing about everybody has a different personality when they speak. Mine is I riff a lot because there's a lot of information I know.
Right.
And just because I've been in this business for so long. And so I had to really, for me to write it down and pretty much memorize a lot of it. I did a memorization of it. Then after I got comfortable, I did riff off of that, but I kept coming back to the points, which I was really proud of myself for, because
You should be.
I am the queen of let's get off track, as we know from this podcast, and let's go bizarrely in the other direction. But I really I feel good about it.
Right. And I think that's what makes you such a good speaker, is because you did hone it in. You have to get to your 5 points and hit the thesis of your presentation. And if you go off for 5 extra minutes on topic number ABC that you're excited about because it's in the news and you learned all about it, then you're going to miss the point. And you were speaking mainly one morning breakfast to a group of men and mainly to a group of women the second day. And that creates a different energy, and they have different questions, and you're attacking their needs in a different way, and you're really good at that. So it's about being organized and getting your point across, but being flexible and speaking to the room. And so it was really fun.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, because I loved speaking to the men first. And men have a different, like you just said, a different set of questions. Theirs was mostly, I was really addressing the fact that what are they building their wealth for if they're not going to be healthy? Also with the women, but less so. It was so much more I'm a woman. I'm used to what women are going to ask me, but the men were just dynamic and very engaged, as well as the women. So, and that's I just thought it was a great event both
was.
ways, both times.
Right. And that'll lead us into the next thing. I want to tag team right off of that and talk about the other guest speaker at the events was Michael Clinton. And we really should, we won't spoil too much because I think we should get him. He's very busy on the podcast.
Wouldn't that be great? So, Michael, yes.
Yeah, come on, Michael.
Come on.
So Michael Clinton, we've met previously at these corporate events where we were teaching exercise, and now they've asked you to also add on with the longevity and wellness speech. Michael is, brilliant, multi-talented in a lot of different fields, but mostly like writing and publishing. He was the president at Hearst Publishing for a long time. He travels the world. He's just a culturally dynamic man who now has started a thing called, found like a platform called Roar, ROAR, Forward. So this is about reimagining your life after 50. So what does the second half of your life look like? And in a nutshell, what all that we're learning, and we know a lot of technology, is that our lifespan is just increasing over time. And so if that is going to happen, how are we going to live a healthy lifespan? And so what he's done, I'll read what ROAR stands for because I love it. So R is reimagine yourself. O is own who you are. A is act on what's next, and R is reassess your relationships. So Roar Forward, you were not only speaking with him, but featured yesterday in his newsletter as what we call a reimagineer. So if you had to define yourself as a reimagineer, what does that mean?
Oh, I love it. And wow, wasn't that a really honor for me to be featured in his online thing? Yeah, Roar is right up my alley. I have reimagined my life. It just so happens he and I are the same age. He is the expert on longevity. I am the expert on wellness. I think we meshed really well together. The points he made were, you are, it used to be at 60, some of his points were 65. We used to think we were going to retire. We've got to get out of that mindset of I'm a certain age. Now that I'm a certain age, I need to do thus and so because we are healthier and we're living longer. And so for me, I reimagined my life several years ago. I've done it in different stages, and I think we can all relate to that. I think we do that sometimes very, very consciously, but I consciously changed my life when I, left a 37-year marriage, took a real chance on the fact that, this was a step in a direction that could be a failure for me, as well as my personality, as well as my reputation in business. And I did it because my passion led me to do that. And I reimagined my life with you. And constantly, you don't do it once, you do it
over and over.
Over and over. You do it on a daily basis, but I find there are milestones in all of our lives. Even when I was maybe 40, late 40s or middle to late 40s and moved myself to Toronto.
I was going to say, you can back it up. You've been doing this for a long time.
Back it all the way up. And you can go backwards. I moved myself to Toronto to learn to do Pilates. And I remember I was married then, and my husband at the time goes, "You're going to go live there for 3 months?" And I went, "Yes, I am." That was, that's a step. And that bravery, I think, is something we practice and we get better at. And I'm going to back it up one more time because in my early 30s, I became a model, a fashion model. That's when people retire, or at least they did in the 80s. Now people are older and it's more acceptable. So I think this reimagineer is right up my alley. And so I love the story that I still have yet to read my own story. It just came out, so
it was like a Q&A about your life and how you have reimagined it and where you are and about your business, and it was just very nice. So that was a fun feature and a fun partnership, and really, let's let that continue. We're continuing over the next couple months, traveling to teach at these corporate events as the method. The two of us teaching classes, and also
we're really good together, aren't we?
It's fun.
Yeah.
And when you're, speaking, I'm clicking through the slideshow, so I'm valuable in that way too.
This is great. No,
besides the fact that I started my period on the white chair.
Oh wow!
During the conference.
No, this was during. Thank God it was during the women's event. But anyway, tell the story.
This is just just classic. Like, 46, who knows when it's coming? I'm never prepared.
First
ever.
of all, you should have been prepared.
I wasn't, because my Aura Ring app told me that it would be at least a week and a half, and it's been regular.
The Aura Ring, it's that fault, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just sitting looking
So she did bleed all
cute,
over. My dress. You're wearing my dress,
stand
by the way.
up, dance around, because the music's on the end of the speech. We all need to move. And I look down, I'm like, oh my God. This is so mortifying.
Yes.
So a sweet woman there, like, she grabbed a jacket and covered me and then ran me to the bathroom. Then she came back and brought me a tampon. And then somebody else who was working the event, I was like,
And
sorry.
this happened to be
She
at the
took
very
the chair back.
It was the very end of the speech, and it was all of the corporate people that had hired me to come to speak, and they were all coming up on stage to take pictures. And one of Lee's jobs, besides being amazing, was to take pictures. And I see her racing out of the back of the room with something around her waist, and I'm like, could you maybe just come this is the moment you're supposed to do your thing. Anyway, it was funny, but
Life calls.
Life calls.
Nature calls.
But that's what is so much fun.
Excuse
You
me.
were a hell of a clicker, though.
Thanks so
You're
much.
clicking on my
Slideshow is
slideshows.
on point. Even when you missed a slide, I just
I
kept
did
it
miss
moving.
a slide. I did, but I was rolling. I did, yeah.
No, it was great. So that was fun. You've been in, let's just keep doing the Liz show. You have been also in Men's Health and Women's Health, published recently.
Isn't that interesting? So I spoke to men, spoke to women, and I just
know.
came out in Men's Health and Women's Health.
Right. You're not always coming out in men's magazines, but you and your team have worked on that.
Yeah.
And so we'll link all those articles in the show notes for you to see. But primarily they're on the same topic. It's about stability exercises and exercises to incorporate into your routines to prevent injury. And for these cases, the articles were over 40 and over 50. And I just want to say, this isn't like I'm not 40, I'm not 50, I'm not 60, 70, 80, so it's time to zone out. The earlier you invest in your health and build that bank account, because this is a term we were using for this corporate event, is going to pay off in the long run. So while it is never too late to start, and you're never too old, it is important that you think about, wow, I can't remember any of the facts that Michael was giving about, I'm a millennial, and in 5 years, we'll all be in the second half of life. So that's a little crazy.
I thought one of his important messages was that there was a woman in the room that was a young woman. She was 19. He said she could be one of the very first. The next generation
To live.
will live to be 100, and some
Plus.
over 100. So if you're going to live that long, and he asked the question, how many of you want to live to be 100? And only couple of people raised their hands, but he said, what if you could be healthy and live to be 100? So that was the whole point of the talk. He's talking about what the research has on longevity. I was talking about the wellness aspect of how we're going to do that. And so that is just the truth. That's the research. People are already living longer.
Right.
And so, and I think our financial health is important, but it's necessary.
Right.
We have got to, we can't go, we're going to live to be 75 or 80. I mean, I'm already heading that way, and I need to, I was listening very carefully to the financial part, because you have got to keep the money available.
Right. And the takeaway for me when Katie spoke that one day was, knowledge. A lot of the women were doing Q&A questions about, I didn't know this about my business. I put my head in the sand when it comes to business and money. I let my partner or my husband take care of the money. And she just made it simple. Like, you have to work with your team, with your banker, gain some knowledge, just know what you have, know who's in charge, and take those baby steps. And I think we let the power go too often.
We do. And I can speak to the numbers, because I've gone through menopause, and we've talked about this on this podcast before, and boy, that is still a very active and thank God subject. I urge all of us to know the numbers on our hormones by getting blood tested when you're even in your late 30s, early 40s. Where are your numbers on your hormones? And so it was funny because Katie was talking about the numbers there. We've got to keep up with our numbers, and because that is the key to our overall health. So, yeah, and that is the other beautiful thing about living longer now. We are ready. The research is now happening and it's already been done. They're finally studying women's health. We
Slowly but
really
surely.
are. We really are. It's not like we're little small men anymore. We actually have studies now starting on why we need certain hormones and why we need certain types of lifestyles and even as strange as like the ice baths and things, how women's bodies really react differently from men. We just cannot do the same things. And that doesn't mean us less or better. It just means we're different. And we should have always been going along those lines.
Right. So there's still a lot of work to be done towards that, and being your own best advocate really is the place to regain the power, because we don't know everything and our doctors don't know everything, but you have to keep asking the questions. And if you're not getting some sort of answer to your question, even if the doctor says, I don't know, let me get back to you, then find another doctor. Keep going.
I've rarely run into a doctor that says, I don't know, let me get back to you. And I got that question out of the audience this week, and she goes, what if my doctor, and going back to hormones, just says, no, we're going to need to get through it. And I've said, well, then you go to another doctor.
Right.
You don't necessarily leave that doctor, but you get a second opinion until you get an answer. And it's not always your doctor's fault. It's just the research, but it's coming along, and I feel really great and hopeful and positive about that. So I would urge anybody to maybe take a look at this website, the Roar website, because it is inspirational. And I don't care if you're 40, and because this is people mostly over 50, but it's just looking at people that, even older than me, which, is there somebody older than me? I don't know.
You know it.
But anyway, that are just
rhetorical question.
Starting businesses in their late 80s or early 90s.
Right.
And succeeding and doing really well with life.
Right.
And that's just, to me, so inspirational. And to know that when you're 20 and 30 and you're making these huge decisions like, this is what I'm going to do with my life, just know that this is what you're going to do. Your eye is on the ball right there, but that is going to change at some point. And be ready. Mm-hmm. Be open to it.
Another takeaway for me, too, is a little bit of that pressure pot of like, well, we're 65 now and I've got to do a third career. Like that expectation that we've all got to always, create something new, do something new, pivot.
Yeah.
And
true.
really,
we don't want it to be that way. Yeah.
It's more about, staying active in some sort of way. Is that more mental for you? Is it more physical? We're always going to preach, move, 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 move. It's the only way to stay young and healthy and vibrant. Mm-hmm. But whatever it is, I think you're passionate about. Maybe it's, grandchildren, just spending time with loved ones.
Right.
Not isolating yourself, not giving up, throwing in the towel, those kinds of things, but not necessarily like, oh, one more thing we've got to do.
Well, and this is a bit of my speech, but I won't give it, but it was basically stepping out of your comfort zone and remaining curious.
Right.
I don't care if you're 22 or you're 92. When you're 22, you need to step outside of your comfort zone and remain curious at any age. And so if you are the happiest woman in the world or happiest man in the world doing what you've always done, but you're remaining curious about life and curious about the people around you, and you're surrounding yourself with community, which the research, of course, says that the one golden, beautiful thing that keeps us all aging well is surrounding ourselves with community.
Right.
And if I can go further with that, I don't want us to think, oh, it's just our family. We want to just have our family around. I want to say your community starts with you taking care of you first. Because sometimes you start to do things for other people and you think, that's my community. But we want to make sure you're really receiving and being filled up as you're giving. So, you've got to, it's a give and take. It's Beth. You've got to have people that support you, hold you accountable, that you support, celebrate wins.
Of course. And in a time that we're all more isolated and, we're cultural beings who've been in tribes forever.
We're pretty tribal
really,
right now.
Right. And you can take that term however you want. Like a tribe, I think it can be a very positive, good community, is when that tribalism turns into negativity and not being communal with other groups. And I think this is the perfect segue into, you know, what we're living in now, and being curious about what other people different from you have to say. And so what I'm living in, at least, is a world where you just see vitriol and disagreement and hate and negativity spewing out everywhere, and it's easy to get bogged down.
It's
in
easy.
That.
And every single day, the hardest part I have been trying to do lately, because I knew we were coming into the podcast today, and I thought, how are we going to do something positive here? So the spin on seeing the vitriol is seeing it for what it is. But our eyes, we're the filter, and our when we are seeing this vitriol, then we can respond to it the way it feels reactive and feels correct, to just spew it right back, or we can really tamp that energy down to where is that common denominator. Anger comes from hurt, and so people are hurting,
Fear,
and people are fearful, and I don't care what side you're on. You are fearful right now, and you are sure that your side is correct. And so knowing that information is power for you to walk into situations and tamp down that energy of reaction, of fear, and of anger, and just looking a little beneath that surface to there's a human being in there that is hurting also. And I think that's, I really have hope for us. I'm not sure. I think it starts with ourselves.
of course.
If I can do that, because I'm very active and my brain is constantly in the news, I'm very, very aware of what's going on. And it's very concerning. But it has to reach the boiling point, and it pretty much has.
Over and over.
And for us to all kind of take a breath and go, where do we want to go with this? Do we really, really want to go there? Do we really want to lose our democracy, our freedoms?
I do not.
And so, but that everybody thinks it's the other's fault.
I know.
So we just have to remain eyes wide open and heart wide open as well, I think.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And speak. I mean, with respect to your family, to your friends. We can't be shut down.
Right.
I just think if we shut down, that's what...
Silence will take us right to the bottom.
Yeah.
And
probably, anyone who disagrees with me would like me to just not talk about it, and then, their wish is fulfilled.
Right.
And I think we just saw, I don't know exactly what's going to happen or where this will be when this comes out. But for example, the Jimmy Kimmel being pulled off the air, and then Disney losing $4.4 billion because people were trying to stand up, or were standing up for freedom of speech. He seems to be coming back on the air. And that's just an example of that we are right now, today, in a democracy where we do have freedom of speech, and that needs to be honored. And if
I think it does too. And
some group can't speak, then the other group can't speak.
Exactly.
Right?
And I think every right, the KKK, anybody deserves the right. Whoever I vehemently disagree with, I will 100% to the day I die support their right to speak, whether I like it or not. This is a country where we do not have rules and regulations about hate speech. We don't have it. Other countries do. We are a democracy built on the freedom of speech. And so I don't have to like it, but I also don't have the right to, if I'm in power, to, penalize someone. Now, I can fire them if they work for me in my company. That's totally different. But as an American government, we are pushing those limits when we start to limit people's free speech.
Right. Well,
So
it's just
that's where
free
we need to
speech,
speak
or
out about.
regardless, one for all and not the other is just not okay.
Yeah.
It's just not okay, and I don't want us to go there.
Right.
And
Besides,
so-
next time it might be somebody you totally disagree with, and and they're doing the same thing to you. So it's I love this democracy we're in, and I feel like we're going
don't like
to
the one
survive
we're in.
this. Well, we're gonna survive it.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna survive
I don't feel
it.
like I'm in a democracy right now, but
Yeah.
it's, to be aware, to edit as needed what you see. We are now in a place where we're getting all our information from anybody who wants to speak. So trying to find the truth and understand that, and understanding people different from you, and leading with a heart filled with love and compassion and empathy and understanding. And that's the only way to go, or we're not going to get through it.
100% agree. 100% agree.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a little side note on the state of the world right now. Did go too deep.
Which we have decided we are not going to discuss. So I think we did fairly good.
Fairly good.
We edged it around.
Just
Yeah.
tiptoe.
Yeah.
But other things going on. We are rolling in the studio with classes.
We are.
Fall is good. Seems like students these days aren't in school at all.
At all. That's fine.
And their moms, have to deal with that.
That's right.
That's good. New things we're doing. So you're now a professional speaker in addition.
I love that part.
And I'm now a professional travel advisor, which we've
Oh,
talked
right,
about.
right.
But I've made some changes.
Okay, yeah.
in that front.
Let's talk about her travel, and then we're going to circle back to the studio because I want to talk about travel.
Wanted to know where you wanted to go.
Yeah.
So I've been talking about this on the podcast, our love for travel, my love for travel, and travel advisory. I joined an agency last year to just get my feet wet and see how I liked it, and I love it.
Yeah.
So I've recently switched agencies to a beautiful one called Smart Flyer, and I am joining.
Super fancy. Super fancy. It's shishi. It's all the best.
Stop it! I don't want you to make it sound bad. It's a
It's-
luxury travel agent, but I
I'm
don't like
telling
fancy.
you, I'm
shishi.
not hanging out with anybody that's not shishi. Keep going.
Oh my God. Okay, so anyway, I've joined Smart Flyer, the agency, and I have joined Lucy Williams on her team as an agent advisor. So Lucy, as you've heard us on this podcast talk about, was our travel advisor, a friend of mine.
She's great.
And when this all started, I said, let me see how much bandwidth I have, and maybe we'll talk about it. So we've talked, and she would like me to be on her team.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited. I'm actually doing, in the middle of kind of a group training for 12 of us new affiliates to the program.
Yes.
I already have learned so much more, and processes are so much better.
We're going to have so much better
excited.
trips. Could we possibly have a better trip than we've already had?
No, we're just going to keep going, but I
Yeah.
would like to provide
Yes.
wonderful trips for any of you who are listening. Please let me know.
Yes.
And that's what I've been busy doing. So
Yes.
I like it.
Yes.
Speaking of reimagining, now I have 2 careers.
See, I mean, and that's the thing. And that it's not like you have to do one or the other. That is
Right.
reimagining your life and saying, well, I am the director of training and I am really active, and this is my job at Hilliard Studio Method, but you are also a travel agent. And you decide, how does that balance work? And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Right.
But you're so far, so good. You don't say, oh, no, I can't do that. I just say always look at but keeping your energy so that it's not overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the balance. And I think you're doing a great job of that.
Well, thank you, because we had a moment where this wasn't going to happen.
Well, no, we didn't. We had to discuss it, as all good partners discuss. And by the way, disagreements are the fruit of love. I mean, they are the fruit of success. If I had just gone, well, I think that's fine, and just not voice my opinion at first,
right?
I think you've got to do that with your partner. But I mean, now I just see what a beautiful symbiosis this is. We always travel, and now you have even bigger access, which means I get to do it. And
so this is about you.
It's always, no, I'm just kidding. But I mean,
but no, to your point, you do need to bring your hopes, your wishes, your dreams, your thoughts to your partner.
Right.
And it can be uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable.
If it was comfortable, you'd be stagnant. That's part of my speech.
Oh my God.
Keep going.
If it's uncomfortable, then that's exactly when you should be talking about it. Because what the example you were giving, if you just said, well, I might have some reservations about this, but I'm not going to talk about it, and just you do whatever you want, I'm fine. What that equals down the road is resentment. And touch and go.
A small roadblock can become a wall.
That's right.
And you just don't need to build the walls.
And
you
what
need
we
to keep it
were
open.
dealing with at the time of me making this decision was really you preparing for the speaking event where you needed support.
I needed support, and I was also, there's never just one or two things, right? We're also in the midst of looking for a new location. I almost bought a building in the middle of all this.
I know.
I literally almost bought a building, and I was going to 2 weeks ago, and I changed my mind because I chose not to for all the right reasons. I looked at the information there, and I thought, nope, that's not going to work. So, in the middle of all of the things, you stepped out, and you have to remember your life is not in a vacuum. Things are happening all at once. And as a matter of fact, we are still right here in this beautiful studio, and we hope to stay here for a while, but we've got some decisions to make, and we are still looking for locations. So if anybody's out there, and I'm not even opposed to buying buildings, but I am looking, so...
Not all the way until we have no money to do anything
Yeah,
else.
I mean, again, that's why I was glad that I was around all these people talking about money recently, about the older we get. You've got to balance this out. And Hilliard Studio Method is not stagnant. I mean, I'm not worried about this building this workout can go many, many places.
That's right.
And we're not stagnant in our workout either. I mean, we've just brought into our orbit a woman called Sarah Ragney Wellness.
Raggy.
Raggy. Okay, Raggy. Sarah,
Try
I'm
that
so
again.
sorry because she and we just got along. I
I
like
know.
this girl so much.
It's great.
And,
She's going to be on the podcast later.
So we've got she was actually going to be here today, but had a conflict. But she's that other component of, well, if you're going to be well and you're going to live this great life, we know our nutrition, but she's a nutritionist. So we've talked nutrition in here all the time, but when you like a professional, advisor,
Right.
sort of like Lee's a travel advisor.
Right. Well, I mean, the point is that we're always evolving and changing and trying to work with and partner with people who we carry the same values and how we approach what is wellness and what is joie de vivre and enjoying your life in the midst of it. And I'll just go back one little segue before we wrap up, because I just watched you do like a thought process of like down this road for 5 minutes, and I'm going to pull it back for a few, because what ended up happening just in this final topic of my decision to add something else to the plate is that internal thing I have with myself about being there for you.
Yes.
Like a lot of my identity comes from being available for you, helpful for you, a teammate with you, and a partner with you.
I'm lucky.
And you are, at the end of the day, in this building and with Hilliard Studio Method, my boss. And although I feel very equivalent and respected and all those beautiful things with you, there is still that level.
Right.
And so that was my internal rationalization going, can I break out and create a new identity that still honors the passions and the things that I want to do, but also continues us in a way that's fruitful? Because the last thing I would ever want to do was put pressure on us or you or this studio or this building. And I just encourage people who are like me in that way to really weigh that and listen to your gut and yourself, because I did a lot of, never mind, I'm just not going to do it. That was not imposed by you, but those feelings were imposed by me. The habits that I always fell back on of, well, this just isn't working for everybody else, and that's a little bit uncomfortable, and I'm just not going to do it.
Right.
And that's just a shame.
Well,
and
that's what a lot of us do. And that's why becoming your first priority, you did finally. That's why you stepped outside of your comfort zone. You did finally. And we discussed it as adults and as partners and also as business people.
Right.
And wow, I still say that we are lucky.
I think so
we
too.
work together and we respect one another. Not all relationships work together. I mean, I'm not sure everybody could do that.
Sure.
But wherever you are in your relationship, never be afraid. I mean, I remember, I'm sure my ex-husband was like, you're gonna go and live in in another country for 3 months just to do Pilates?
We should do that again.
Insane?
Let's go.
And
Let's
I
go to
thought
Canada.
possibly,
We'll find
insane, But yeah, I mean, leading with your heart and your gut, or I'm just going to say with your gut, you led with your gut and you got outside of your comfort zone and said, I will choose me for here. And then if we can discuss and see where that goes, and look where it's going.
And what does it do for us?
Exactly. Yeah. And I like to kid around and go, I'm going to have I always have these great trips. It doesn't matter where you are, but as long as you're with me.
There you go. There you go. So, long story short, we're not going anywhere. We're reimagining life.
Yeah, we are.
We are
Every
traveling,
minute.
working, studio. We'll probably go somewhere. We don't know when.
Yeah, we are traveling a lot. We are traveling with other corporations. As a matter of fact, if you all are interested, I mean, we are a good tag team. We take Hilliard Studio Method on the road. And we, wherever we are, and we do the workout, and I speak sometimes, and we just have we make great friends and people, men and women. I mean, I would say the majority of the people that come to our classes when we're training corporate groups are men.
There are a lot of men, more than in the studio.
And they love it because men have their ways, women have their ways, and men love the stability stuff that we're showing them and the strength. Flexibility that's adding to what they're already doing.
Yeah. So hit us up.
Hit us up.
Hit us up if you want us to come join you. If you've got a Charlotte studio for us, let us know.
Yeah. We actually have a really good, we can't talk about it yet, but we have a place we can go should we get tossed out of this building. But, again, progress, things move. No, there's nothing really solidly, to resist change is to resist life. We are here, we are changing, we are malleable, not only malleable, but I believe every time there is something drastic and change, you can choose. You either grow with it or it pushes you down. So,
right. And that's what goes with democracy, too.
Truly.
We're going to grow with it with our hearts.
Yes.
Big and strong.
Yes. So I'm glad to be back.
Okay.
Are you glad to be back?
Boom. Little world tour there on the first pod back. But
yes.
Yes. Glad to be back. Hope everybody's doing well. Let us know if you need anything. And I love
and come
you.
to the studio. We miss you. And I love you too. I'm glad.
Good.
Yeah, this works out, doesn't it?
Great. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to us today, wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, you can now find our podcast on YouTube.
Yeah. If you liked it, please share, rate, and review. We love 5 stars. And we hope you'll work out with us online or in studio at HilliardStudioMethod.com.